what's going on, guys? Welcome back, Marriage, Money, and Mindset. We're your host. I'm Jared.
And I'm Alexis.
Welcome back to another episode. We're on episode 40 this week of Marriage, Money, and Mindset. Before we kick the episode off, we want to say thank you to the new subscribers. Thank you to the existing subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. We do an episode every Monday at 5 p.m. Central Time in regards to marriage, money, and mindset.
Yes, if you know someone who this episode can help, go ahead and share the episode, like, comment, give us some feedback below.
Yeah.
And we made it all the way to 40.
Yeah, man. So we've been staying consistent ever since we started this channel, I think about August of 2023. So here we are 40 episodes later, guys. So, hey, everybody who supported the channel, we appreciate y'all so far.
Right.
So last week, well, not last week, but this week, we're going to do an episode in regards to money, the money side of the channel.
Right.
So, the episode is titled The Necessity of Multiple Streams of Income, right?
So basically what that means is we're no longer in the day and time where one job is enough, one source of income is enough. So we have to figure out ways to produce more income.
Right. Yeah,
preferably without exchanging your time for it, but we'll get into that.
Yeah. We're going to dive into it on this episode. We want to discuss, how your multiple streams of income preferably should be from streams that doesn't require much of your time in exchange for the revenue that you generate, right?
Right.
So we're going to touch on these things in this particular episode. But we're definitely going to touch on 4 reasons why it's important for you to have multiple streams of income. I'm just going to name the 4, and then we're going to define the 4 and go in more in depth of the 4 here in this episode, guys. Okay, so the 4 reasons why multiple streams of income is a necessity. It's going to be for black swan events, inflation, wealth building, and diversification. All right.
Yes.
So get your notepad, get your pen and pad ready, because we're going to dive into this episode. It's going to be quite lengthy. Just giving you a heads up, but it's going to be worth it. Trust me. So let's go. Let's start off with just a few things let's talk about the importance in today's economy for multiple streams of income. We can touch on a few of those, like financial security. Let's start there. So financial security, guys, relying on a single source of income, it can be risky, especially if that income source is unstable. Multiple streams of income provide a safety net in case one source diminishes or disappears.
Right.
So, think back, we're going to get into black swan events, but 4 years ago, we had something called the pandemic, right? Mm-hmm. So if you were an individual who relied on one stream of income at that point in time, and that one stream of income disappeared due to that black swan event, which is a black swan event, we're going to touch and go more in depth on what black swan events are. Then, of course, your financial security potentially could have been jeopardized, right?
Right. So your job security is no longer here with one source of income, like we mentioned before. So it's no longer a luxury to have multiple streams of income. It's a necessity.
It's a necessity.
So you have to have more than one stream of income.
Right. Let's go ahead and dive into black swan events real quick. So let's define it, okay? So on this channel, guys, we define terms and then we dive in, right? So I'm going to read what a black swan event is to you. So a black swan event is a term used to describe a highly improbable and unpredictable event that has a massive and widespread consequence. The concept was popularized, well, we don't need to tell you who it's popularized by. But basically, so that's pretty much what it is. So if you look at something like 9/11, pandemic, right?
The '08 crash.
Things of that nature, right? These are things that, people didn't see coming, but they came. And then if you were not in a position where you were prepared for this event, you potentially could have been disrupted.
Right.
Your finances could be disrupted.
Yeah, those were, they showed how quickly economic downturns can result in job loss and reduce financial security.
Right.
So
these things have occurred and will continue to occur, guys. So just know that this is, but also there's opportunity in black swan events. Like Will mentioned, just making it personal for us. So once it did come, the pandemic, okay, so the very first thing we did, of course, we wanted to make sure we were safe in that event. Mm-hmm. We did what we believed was the proper protocol for us and our family. But we also look for opportunities, right? So in my situation, I was able to earn a little bit additional income due to my line of work, which is pretty much an essential profession.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we took the income that we generated,
That
extra
and
income,
invested it
right,
all.
reinvested it, and then we were able to produce, generate more real estate with the income that we made. And then, of course, we, invested some of it in the stock market. I don't know if y'all recall the stock market that year. You pretty much could have threw a dart at any company and made money, in the stock market, because every company was on fire for 2021.
And we pretty much started our stock investments.
Yeah, we got pretty serious
2019?
about our journey. Yeah,
So
like
we,
building our portfolio that year.
yeah, we doubled down during the pandemic.
Right. Yeah. Okay, guys. So that's one reason why the necessity of multiple streams of income is vital. So let's talk about inflation. Let's go into detail on that.
Okay, so inflation is the general increase in prices and the fall in purchasing value of money. So it has a direct impact on the cost of living.
Right. So right now, guys, inflation has been running rampant ever since pretty much the pandemic, right? Well, the Fed pretty much lowered the interest rates down to practically zero. Now we're currently hovering at like 5.5%. The previous Fed fund meetings haven't been any cuts or increases. They basically just been pausing the Fed fund rate and basically trying to lower inflation down to their level of 2%. So that's currently what's going on in today's economy. So it seems to be working, but of course people feel the effects of inflation. All you got to do is really go to your grocery store. You feel it there. I mean, that's just one place you
Right.
you can really like the consumer price index, which is CPI. That's the acronym for it. CPI is consumer price index, and then also PPI. These two indicate the track of prices of a basket of goods and services over time. So the CPI has been starting to, now we have it coming down.
Yeah,
I know
trying
I'm
to
starting to get
regulate.
into now I'm getting into a foreign language to most people, but this is basically how the Fed tracks where we are today in regards to the inflation, right? So once they get it to their 2% goal, if they get it to their 2% goal, then they're going to start potentially cutting back on the Fed fund rate. In turn, you'll see interest rates come down for like mortgages, et cetera, right? Credit cards. And usually in that environment, the economy starts to flourish and to a certain degree. Now also, I just want to mention this real quick. Sometimes inflation isn't bad if you look at it from the perspective of like an investor. So
Right.
like for instance, okay, so right now if you're trying to get a mortgage, you're going to probably pay anywhere between 6.5 up to 8%, depending on your credit score and if you meet the criteria. So for us, we have real estate that we've invested in, and the mortgage rates are currently locked at about 4.25. So you can't get mortgages that low right now.
Yeah.
So when you look at it from that perspective, we're actually hedging inflation because we have a lower mortgage interest rate in comparison to what now the interest rate is. So from that perspective, we're actually hedging inflation. I hope that made sense.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. So that's just, to give y'all a little bit of understanding of why it's a necessity to have multiple streams of income, because inflation, guys, over a period of time, and they're telling you they're trying to get the inflation down to 2%, the Fed. So that's telling you that they're going to inflate over time at 2%. So if your money is not at least working 2% to hedge that or greater, your buying power is going to decrease. That's why it's not good to save money. You don't want to have money, a large sum of your net worth just in
Just sitting.
cash, sitting in a bank account, not earning you any interest, right? So that's one reason of a necessity of having multiple streams. A second reason of having multiple streams of income. We covered black swan event and inflation. So now let's talk about wealth building.
Yeah. So wealth building is the accumulation of assets and investments that increase in value over time, contributing to long-term financial security.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, relying on one stream of income is not going to suffice.
It's not.
Yeah. You're not going to be able to really save and invest in the long term.
Exactly, guys. It's very vital to your financial future to wealth build. You want to accumulate assets during your working years, and those assets going to take care of your later years post working, right?
Right.
So a few different ways you can invest. Of course, we've touched on it several times on this channel. Stock investing, there's crypto. We invest in
estate.
Bitcoin. That's one asset class that we have.
Businesses.
Yeah, exactly. Businesses that you can start. You can invest in real estate, buy and hold real estate, let it generate income every month. Like today is the first, well, this is the 1st of June. There's rental income that we are bringing in this month, that's gonna, that's multiple streams of income. That's one example of multiple streams of income, right? But yeah, guys, it's vital. Wealth building. You have to invest. Saving. Yeah, you can save, but I wouldn't. Again, you don't want to set aside more money that should be working for you than not. I mean, emergency fund is cool. Things of that nature. Let's talk about budgeting through wealth building. Talk about that.
So you want to be financially independent. So having enough wealth to live without exchanging your time for money.
Yeah.
And what did you want me to mention?
Well, just the budgeting side of it, away from the notes. We'll just talk about budgeting, right? That's part of wealth building. Like, you have to set aside a budget. We talked on budgeting, by the way, on this channel in the past. How we believe you should allocate your income once it does come in. So much could go to investing, so much go to your living.
Right.
Because you don't want to have an out of balance budget, meaning too much money goes to one particular category.
More is going out than is coming in.
Well, not only that, but just more money going to a particular category.
That too.
Right. So, that's part of your budget. So, let's say, for instance, if 50% of your income goes to just housing, then that's way out of whack, guys, because you're robbing yourself from other categories that are just as important, if not more important. So much of your income should go to investing, your housing, your food, your leisure, and again, guys, we did an episode on this already. If you want to just go back and rewatch that, I believe it was called Managing Finances in a Marriage. Forget what episode that was, but go back and check it out because we go deeper into that.
Maybe 3.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so it's good to diversify your income.
This is the 4th one, by the way.
Yeah.
So we're going to the 4th reason why it's a necessity to have multiple streams of income. It's for diversification. Now go.
Okay, so diversification is a risk management strategy.
Yeah.
So it involves spreading your investments across multiple asset classes. So having multiple streams of income is diversification because if one stream fails, then you still have other streams to depend on.
Yeah. This is basically risk management, right? So, if you have stocks, if you have real estate, let's say the stock market isn't doing as performing as well than your real estate portfolio or vice versa, right? It's just different. You want to have revenue generating from different aspects or different classes, other than just relying solely on one, right?
That goes back to the saying, don't put your eggs all in one basket. Right. So spread out your eggs so you have different drips. Yeah.
And even in different sectors in the stock market, I believe there's 11 different sectors, so, you want to even be diversified in the stock market as well if you can. Yeah. Just by diversifying, investors aim to achieve more stable and predictable returns over time, as the portfolio is less likely to experience significant loss due to the poor performance of any single investment, right? So those are the 4 reasons why it's a necessity to have multiple streams of income. So we can touch on something else, like our personal, situation. Like for us, so we both have 9 to 5s, guys. So, I say 9 to 5 jobs, careers, whatever. So we have income that's coming in monthly, from that particular stream. Right here, let's get that out the way. We don't need this anymore. Let's talk. Talk to the people. Okay, so check this out. So I'm gonna give y'all an example real fast. So let's say your household has monthly expenses in the amount of, I don't know, $8,000 a month, right? Okay, so let's say you and your spouse bring in $10,000 a month with y'all's jobs. Okay, cool. There's a $2,000 surplus, right? Okay, now let's say out of that 10, I bring in 5, or I bring in 6, you bring in 4. right? Well, if yours go away and our expenses are, what I say, 8, well, there's a deficit of 2,000 now. Or even worse, if mine was to go away
Right.
and we kept yours, well, now there's a deficit of 4, right? 4K. I should get out the board and do this. But anyway, I say all that to say, so check this out. Now, we shouldn't solely rely on just my stream and her stream of income to take care of those liabilities or monthly expenses of 8K if we bring in 10. So the idea would be this is how we think. So we need to figure out a way to bring in that 8 of our expenses outside of our profession. So how do we generate the 8K or even better than that, a 10K income that can take care of that 8K expense without us having to rely solely on our job? Because that's cool, we have the job that can take care of the expense, but if we had an additional 10K on top of that outside of our jobs, that could cover those. Basically, at that point, you're technically financially free. But also another thing to add to that scenario is you want to make sure that extra 10K in multiple streams is something that can hedge inflation, meaning that it's something scalable. You want to have something scalable, meaning that you can increase,
continuously grow.
Exactly. And then also it appreciates over time. So if you can invest in something that appreciates over time in value and cash flows and hedges inflation, that's the recipe to being financially free and working towards a desirable lifestyle, guys. So,
after the pandemic, really quick, not to cut you off, technology has increased over time.
Right.
So that's one great tool that we have in today's time that we didn't always have. So you can market your businesses online. You can work remotely.
Yeah.
These are just different tips or different ways that you can diversify.
We're in a different era, man. Like, you could even go back, just a couple generations, back to our grandparents' days.
Yeah.
Or even our parents' generation. We don't even have to go that far. We can go back one generation.
You couldn't even invest online, like on your phone. You had to actually go to
There probably was no online.
True.
That's what I'm saying. You talking about invest online.
Yeah.
There probably wasn't even no online yet.
Yeah, that's
what
true.
I'm saying. So you can go back even one generation. See, she a youngster. I'm a little older than her. She don't remember. Like, this is our second nature when she was born.
Yeah.
But like my parents, they didn't have the access that they have today.
Right.
Not only if the internet was there, the information wasn't really there because content hadn't been created yet. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of this information that's at our fingertips today on these cell phones wasn't a real thing back then.
Yeah.
So you're in an advantage. We have an advantage today, y'all. Right. We have the advantage to invest on ourselves, learn how to invest first and foremost. That's an advantage. That's a resource. Pretty much everybody has a cell phone or access to the internet in some form, whether that be in laptop, computer, cell phone, right?
The funny thing, we just had a conversation with a friend of ours this weekend, and he mentioned that they used to hide information in books. Now we're kind of hiding the information in the phone. Like, you have all the accessibility in your fingertips, but are you seeking that information, or are you just using your cell phones just merely for entertainment?
Yeah. And here's the thing: it's okay to entertain yourself every once in a while. We're not saying you should just be full-fledged, using it for your future, your financial future, etc. But at the end of the day, like, allocate only so much time to entertainment, like we do. Like, we have very minimal amount of time that we allocate to entertainment, guys.
Right.
We focus more on our financial future, financial freedom, and a more desirable lifestyle. That's just what we focus on, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like, we're at a stage in time now where, learning how to invest, like, it's literally at your fingertips. There's no excuse. If you're a person out there that doesn't know how to invest, that doesn't know how to invest in a particular asset class, that's your own fault.
Exactly.
That's your own fault, because if you know how to work Facebook, you know how to work Instagram, You know how to post, you know how to comment, you know how, like, these are all things that you had to learn.
Yeah, it was a skill that you picked up over time.
Exactly.
So the same skills or the same effort that you're using to do those certain things, you can use those to educate yourself to better your future.
It's no excuse. It was a learning curve.
Right.
So some people are more talented in those things than I am.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, I put my efforts into what's going to benefit my lifestyle and my family's lifestyle, you know, as far as monetarily goes, versus putting my effort into learning how to make a Twitter post or an Instagram post.
Not only monetarily. I mean, we use our cell phones. Again, this channel is talking about marriage, money, and mindset.
Yeah.
So we're strengthening our skills in marriage, in money, and in mindset daily on our cellular devices.
Yeah.
So
I just say all that to say, like, there's no excuse. So it's all at our fingertips today. Yeah, you have to weed out who you should and shouldn't listen to to educate yourself from. You know, that's part of your due diligence, you know. So again, guys, you know, have multiple streams of income is very important to your financial future. One source of income in today's economy isn't going to cut it, unfortunately. So
unless
just
you're okay with working until you're 80, 90 years old. That's not okay.
No, it's not. It shouldn't be. That shouldn't be a plan of yours.
Right.
You know, and then not to mention one more thing. A lot of these jobs and careers in today's economy, I give it a decade or two, may potentially become obsolete.
That's true.
You know, they're talking about autonomous driving that potentially may interrupt, truck drivers to a certain degree. AI, artificial intelligence. We're not talking about that. But anyway, guys, just know that certain things may potentially be disrupted. So if you're in a line of work or a field of work where it's potentially facing that disruption, maybe a good idea to look into something else or add to that. Hence the episode, multiple streams of income. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, another thing, I know we're kind of in a generation where if you're not happy with something, you just hop into something else.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of my generation and the ones behind me, we are more technology savvy or whatever. So we see things on the internet and it's a quick fix. So if I just say that to say, if you're working a job and there's things that you're not satisfied with, don't just hop out of the career that you're in or the job that you're working at currently. Just add on multiple streams. So we're not telling you to quit your jobs. We're just saying add on those streams of income. So find side hustles, even if it's a branch off of what you're already doing.
Yeah.
Like we've touched on that before. If you're a teacher, for example, you can tutor on the side or you can do different things on the side that branch off from teaching. So it doesn't have to be something that you're unfamiliar with.
Yeah.
It could be hobbies of yours. It could be a branch of what you're already doing for your career, etc.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, the idea, you want to use that income to generate passive income of some sort. We've defined passive income. I'll define it again. Earned income is when you're exchanging your time for the dollars. Passive income is when the income is being generated without your exchanging time for it. So try to look up, it could be a simple Google search. Google what are passive investments or ways I can generate passive income. We don't want to advise you on what to do. That's not what we try to do. We may tell you what we invest in on this channel, but that's not what we're telling you to do, right?
Exactly.
So, because we're not financial advisors, by the way. All right. But yeah, that's pretty much today's episode, guys. We don't want to take up too much more of y'all's time. We just wanted to touch on the importance of having multiple streams of income. It's very vital to your financial future and success. So anything else you want to add before we sign off today?
No, that's all.
That's it. All right, guys. Well, hey, y'all
Time is of the essence.
Yeah, man.
So
y'all
don't
go out
waste
there
it.
and create some passive streams of income. And we will be back next Monday at 5 p.m. to, drop another episode in regards to marriage, money, and mindset. So until then, y'all take care.
Peace.